Jared is a very successful student. Jared has been smashing it. He's been doing amazing. And before we get into everything today, Jared, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you and who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Jared. I'm 25 from Adelaide. I started doing this probably roughly about 4 weeks ago now. And yeah, I've scored 2 properties already in such a short amount of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I know because I've been working closely with you, you've been doing so amazing, and you've been doing so much progress from where you started to where you are now. But let's take it from the start and from the beginning. Before any of this existed for you, what did life actually look for you, like day to day? What were you doing? Where were you at?
Honestly, I've been trying to leave the mining industry for so long. I'm actually an underground miner. That's my current job. And the whole goal is to leave the rat race pretty much. Just leave long swings behind. I work 3 and 1. So it's not a very family friendly orientated life at all. And just wanting to create more time at home with my partner, to create a stronger relationship with everyone at home, and just to create more financial freedom as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could say that if being honest with yourself, you really weren't happy with the life you were living, and if nothing had changed, how do you feel if you never took this first step? How would that make you feel?
I'd be pretty disappointed in myself, to be honest. If I hadn't have taken the first step, yeah, I'd be very disappointed in myself for sure.
Absolutely, especially now that you've made it so far, and it's the start of your journey, but you're doing so well successfully, right? So looking back at it now, you've taken that first step, and the first step's paid off, hasn't it?
Oh, it's paid off in leaps and bounds. Like I said, 4 weeks, probably just under 4 weeks and 2 properties. It's
It's
paid
amazing.
off already.
100%. And on that note, was there like a specific moment or like realization that was like, okay, something has to change? What was the tipping point for you to be like, okay, I need to do something. I need to get into this profitable business model where you have that guidance, where you have that support, and that's why you're able to have so much success. What was that moment for you?
The tipping point for me was probably pretty much as I explained, the longer swings and just the daily grind pretty much of flying out to work, doing 3 weeks, coming home for 5 days, and then going back and doing 3 weeks. I just had no time for my life. Being young, I'm 25, just wanted to create financial freedom. I thought that was the only way to do it. And then when I discovered this business model and finally took the leap, it's opened up a whole new world of opportunities for me.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's the most important part. You need to understand that it was just that first leap that took you a little bit of like strength, courage, and guidance. And when you got across to that, right, you were able to join the program, you were able to follow the blueprint. And what happened when you followed the blueprint? You did so well and you're doing so amazing, right? Um, when you first came across this program though, and this opportunity, what was your honest reaction, right? How did you feel about it?
Um, to be honest, I was probably fairly skeptical at first.
Absolutely.
The thought of taking on, like you guys, you got 70 properties, the thought on taking on 70 properties, the cost behind it, how I would manage it between this job and that job. And if it actually worked, like I have seen a couple of ones where people have made money out of it and all that sort of stuff, but I hadn't seen a lot. So the skepticalness behind it was definitely whether it actually worked and managing the whole thing as well. But as soon as you start and you do it, it's easy. All the templates and stuff that you guys have got, it's easy. It's pretty much just a copy and paste thing.
Absolutely. And when you first thought about this, the biggest thing holding you back was that fear of like, what if this happens? What if is this right? Right. But now that you're in the business yourself, you understand it and you've been with us working, right? You know exactly that this is exactly how we operate. This is exactly what we do, right? So now, what made you choose that decision to go ahead anyways before you even spoke to me?
Just to see the amount of support. The support was the biggest one. Once I understood the amount of support that you guys were going to give yourself, you reply to a message within 5 minutes. You're a phone call away if you need it. There's every massive milestone. There's a call to help you, assist you with the next step. Because as soon as you make that big milestone, for example, getting your first property, it's honestly daunting as to what to do next. But
Exactly.
having that phone call once you've secured that first property, it just, like I said, it's pretty much just copy paste. It's so easy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the most important part. I think that you understood very well, and people need to understand that it's all just that first step, because not taking a decision or not going ahead because you're fearful is also taking a decision not to take a step out of your future.
Mhm.
Right? Because at the end of the day, every single person's working a job, working a 9 to 5, and they'll think something will change, right? And I'm sure you had that thought. You're like, something will change. And you mentioned at the start of the call, you thought that was your the way to access financial freedom, which it wasn't, correct?
Mhm.
Right. So people have to understand that not taking a decision, right, is also a decision to not do anything. It's hurting yourself, right? Because Jared, as I've told you from day one, you didn't fail, right? You did amazing, right? And what's the only way to fail? To fail yourself, right? So if you follow the blueprint, if you follow the templates, if you follow exactly what we say, what happened for you? Where are you at? How many properties are you at right now? And what's your goal for the end of this year?
So I'm currently at 2 properties. One is fully furnished, ready to list on Airbnb probably early next week, Sunday, Monday.
And it looks
Um,
amazing. It looks
yeah,
absolutely amazing.
thank you very much. And in the exact same week, in fact, 4 days later, I got another property.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 properties now. That one I'm getting the keys to on the 30th. So that's going to be starting to set up shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the year, what are we in now? August. 5 to 6 properties would be the goal by the end of the year. Definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's very doable for you, right? But let's talk a little bit about your journey, because we had this time where we just had to be consistent. We had to talk about the process, right? And let's get to that process and let's actually address it. How many calls did it take you to get to where you're at?
So to get to where I'm at, it took 72 calls to
Okay,
land 2 properties, which I think is pretty good.
absolutely.
At the start, the call thing did sound daunting,
Hmm.
but once you made the first 2 calls, it's honestly it's super easy. It's just as easy as scrolling through realestate.com or whatever it may be, calling the agent and making the call and creating the relationship with the agent. It's honestly a very easy process. It sounds long. It sounds difficult.
Yeah,
I would say it is a long process, but it's not a difficult process. It's easy.
absolutely, absolutely. And do you feel that this process you would have been able to do by yourself if you didn't have us?
No, no, not at all. The templates and stuff like that to make the calls, um, everything that is there, that if you need to send an email off to an agent, you've got all the documents right there. You just put it straight in.
Yeah.
I couldn't have.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also have the ability where you know where exactly to search, you know exactly what price range is, you know exactly all the data, right?
Mhm.
Because you had that all that support. And getting to that point of support and talking about that area of stuff, before we get all into all that, tell me about the moment you got that first yes. What did it feel like? Because I was rooting for you, I was waiting for it, and I was so pumped for you. How did it feel for you?
Honestly, it was almost like winning the lotto. I had to take two guesses at it. Like, are they actually giving me a property or are they not giving me a property? But it was honestly exciting, but it was also daunting.
Hmm.
Like I said, you came on with that call and clarified everything, and it was easy after that. But it was honestly probably the most exciting moment because I knew then that it actually worked. Like, the agent that I actually got it off, the first one, was actually a fairly high up agent, and I thought,
Yeah.
not a chance, I better get it through them.
Hmm.
But it was, and I got the call back, and yeah,
Yeah,
very.
and now you're getting obviously I'm acting as your reference, right? People are calling me, you're getting a lot of properties, agents are calling you, right? And you're in a very good position where like now the ball is in your court because you've developed the relationship, you followed the blueprint, you followed everything we've said, and now you're acquiring properties easier, right? From where you were at the start 4 weeks ago to where you're at now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much easier would you say it is?
Definitely a 10. It's easy. It's
Yeah,
oh, like I've got a relationship now with one of the biggest agencies in Adelaide. I haven't tried yet because I can't afford another one just yet, but
yeah.
I'm sure as soon as I call them, they will give me another property.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the moment where things just clicked. When you know it worked, where it was stop feeling uncertain, you got that chat, you got that success, you got the ability to actually fathom what this business is. And now you've got your first, you've got your second, and then you're going to use the first and second to become much, much more. Because what you did was you put in that consistency, you put in that volume, and you put in the repetition, which we taught, which we talked about, which we had in these calls, in these meetings, right? That you had that ongoing support one to one,
Mhm.
right? That helped you and guided you in the right direction. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%, definitely.
Amazing stuff. And now that you're doing so well, what has changed in your day-to-day life since you started?
A lot. My day-to-day life is incredibly busy now. Emails, setting up properties, the list is endless. But honestly, it's such a fun journey to see going from the start to getting the property to finishing the property. Now I'm about to list the property. It's a very fun and exciting journey, and it doesn't feel like a job anymore. It's really good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you say it's a busy, I think it's important to understand that it's busy because you're creating this passive income, right? Because now you understand that once it's up and running, you don't do anything, do you? Other than automations. You have cleaners that we have suggested, we have templates, we have all of that, right, in our resources. All it is setting it up, right, which we help you do and which we help you find, right? And then it's just running the business, right? Which A to Z, would you feel that you have that support from day one to getting your first property to the ongoing management of it? Do you feel like that you've been educated enough in that sense?
Definitely, definitely. Even after like you guys support with 2 properties, but even after one, I feel like I could do it myself for sure.
100%, 100%, because you've been taught, you've been learned this, you have all the resources, and you've been provided all this material as to how do you actually talk to agents, how do you do all of this. Like, for example, you wouldn't know to do some tips and tricks that we obviously say, right?
Hmm.
That no one else knows, right? So
Hmm.
these are the stuff that separates you, and this is the stuff that separated you to get a property, right?
Yeah.
And now, personally, just speaking about me, how do you feel my support was? How do you feel that I was able to guide you? How do you feel that I helped you in your journey?
Your support was it was amazing. Like I said, the phone calls, the message replies if I needed something, even at 10 o'clock at night, you reply within 15 minutes, I'd have an answer. Everything was laid out, easy to read. The list you gave me on things to do was very well laid out and in order and easy to follow. Just the support and the belief that you had in me as well. Like you made yourself very believable for me. So I could see that this process was going to work and I trusted you. And with me trusting you, within 4 weeks, I've gotten 2 properties. So without you, there's not a chance I would be where I am right now. I'd still be making phone calls.
Absolutely. And I think that's the most important part that people need to understand that when you come here, you get a blueprint, you get a script, you get messages, you get exactly what to say, what exactly to do. And you did it. You executed it. You had that one-to-one support any time of the day. And that's what got you to where you're at now. And now, look, you're doing extremely well, right? And I want you to remember that you're on a journey, right? And you're picking up, you're definitely going to hit 5 properties by the end of this year because you're just following our systems, right? And every single person can as well. So look, Jared, I want you to speak directly to the person watching this right now, okay? They're in the exact same position as you were before you started. The ones who were interested but scared. The ones who think it probably works for other people, but not for them specifically, okay?
Mhm.
What do you want to actually say to that person speaking to them?
Honestly, it's the simplest thing. Like, just take the leap, do it. I know it seems skeptical. I know it seems scary, but once you make the leap and you do it, it's not skeptical. It's not scary. It's easy. The support is all there. The help is all there. You can't fail. You can't fail.
Absolutely. You can't fail. And that's the most important part people need to understand. You can't fail if you just take action.
Hmm.
Because taking that first step, taking the action is the hardest. Yes, it is. Right? It's the one that you have the most fear in. But if Jared can do it, if everybody else in our community can do it, the question is, Jared, why can't they? There's no reason they can't, right?
No reason you can't at
E-
all.
Exactly. So they need to get into this. They need to take the first step because the first step is what's going to separate you. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the rat race for the rest of your life. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
So if you're not taking a step out of where you're at, but you'd rather just staying in everything, being fearful, then your life will continue to be the same way it is. Nothing changes by you not taking change. So
That's
you
it.
have to take the first step. You have to put in the first step, right? And you have to have the ability to let's take it on because Jared has taken the results, right?
Mhm.
Now, if you're watching this and something is resonating, this is not a coincidence. That feeling is telling you something. That version of yourself that Jared is describing right now, the one with the same properties, the one with incomes, with options, that version is available to you. You just have to make the same decision Jared made and take that leap of faith and trust in the process as Jared does and the multiple people in our community do who succeed. Every single person succeeds. Jared, you're doing extremely well. Can you just share about a community? You know well about a community. Now, is everybody performing well?
Everyone's performing well. That's another thing we haven't really discussed is the whole community behind it. You can within the community. there's other people from Adelaide. I've had times where I've been like, what cleaners do I use? And what do I use for this? And what do I use for that? You jump on and people answer your queries instantly. There's every single person that I've talked to has at least 1, 2, 3, or 4 properties. I haven't talked to anyone on there struggling to get a property after their first month.
Absolutely. And absolutely. So we have a wonderful community where you get that guidance, where you've got that mentor support. So there's never a time. Have you ever felt there's a time that you haven't been able to reach me or haven't been able to talk to me?
Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly.
Not once.
Exactly. And that's all it is. Since day one, we have taken action, we have taken steps. So the only thing that changed you and the only difference between you and the person watching the video is what, Jared?
Making that first step, just doing it.
Absolutely, just doing it. And now that you did it, you're doing so well. You're very successful, right? So it just comes down to the person that's watching this, right? Tomorrow's not going to be a different day if you don't take another step. Take a step out of the rat race. Take a step out of the job you're in. You're not happy right now, and that's why you're here. So take the decision, be real to yourself, and understand that nothing will change if you don't change. So take the first step, trust the process, because if Jared can do it, right, and the community can do it, you can do it as well. Is that correct, Jared?
That's so right. Just make that first leap and just do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Jared, today. And to everybody watching this, I look forward to working with you guys and you being our students as well. Thank you so much for your time, Jared. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this testimonial. Jared, well done on your properties. You're doing amazing. Let's hit the goal of 5 properties for this year. And I'll be actively looking and speaking with you over the next few days, along with today, and analyzing and reviewing all your properties.
Thank you so much, Vam.
That's all right, Jared. Have an amazing night.